Bro goes in. And they're off. The Shillelagh broke alertly, so did Bro, and Three Georges in between is quicker than both. And Three Georges will set the pace. Bro up alongside. In fact, Bro is keen and tugging hard at Umberto Rispoli. In the meantime, the Shillelagh is going to get the Dream Trip in third. No poking around fourth. It's a factor in Thirsty Vision. Around the first turn, and it's Three Georges. Sprinting clear. Has a 2-length advantage. Bro still tugging in second, a gap of 4 to the Shillelagh third. No poking around, is in fourth, 6 lengths off the battle, and Rispoli concedes and lets Bro go. And it's Bro opening up on Three Georges now. It's a 2-length lead. Make it 3 heading to the half-mile pole. The Shillelagh and Tiago Pereira biding their time in third. No poking around, 5 off the pace in fourth. It's a factor and Thirsty Vision. Bro takes him into the far turn, 3-length advantage. Three Georges second, no poking around, starts to pick it up in third. The Shillelagh on the fence in fourth. It's a factor and Thirsty Vision. They're a 1/4 mile from home, and Bro still to catch. A 1.5 length lead. In second is Three Georges, the Shillelagh on the inside, and no poking around. Then comes It's a Factor, final furlong. Bro keeps going, 3-length lead. The Shillelagh moves into second, but Bro is home free. Bro outclassing them. Bro scores by almost 4. The Shillelagh, It's a Factor, and Three Georges. And they're off. Very even start. Made to Move is going to the front. Magakai on the outside comes away in good order. Mrazek's Old Dream is down at the rail. And just in front of her, Go Cameo, trying to cross in front of that rival and has done so very nicely. So it is Made to Move, Go Cameo on the inside, and Magakai stride for stride second and third. Mrazek's Old Dream and Enjoyer next to one another. 2 lengths clear of Smoke 'em Hot Girl, and Co Hard is at the back, 6 or 7 lengths off front running Made to Move, who's the long shot leader to the 5/8 pole. It's Made to Move in front. Magakai a 1.5 lengths back second. Go Cameo and Tiago Pereira on a nice hold at the rail in third. Enjoy is next. Mrazek's Old Dream inches up between those two. Smoke 'em Hot Girl is next, and the favorite Cohart continues to trail. Into the far turn, Made to Move still there by a length. Magakai set down in second. At the rail, Go Cameo third. Mrazek's Old Dream hard ridden between horses. Enjoy is 3 deep, 4 lengths off the lead. Still 3 to Smoke 'em Hot Girl, and nothing yet from Cohart. They have a 1/4 mile to go, and Made to Move is in front by a 1.5 lengths. On the outside, Mrazek's Old Dream. In between those two is Magakai. There's an 1/8 mile to go. Magakai and Mrazek's Old Dream. Mrazek's Old Dream, Magakai head and head inside the furlong pole. Smoke 'em Hot Girl is trying to pick up some pieces late. It's Magakai just in front. Mrazek's Old Dream. Magakai pulls away the final 16th. Magakai wins it by 2. Mrazek's Old Dream was second. Smoke 'em Hot Girl third. Cohart up for fourth. We're in the gate. And they're off. Genius Jimmy wins the break. Lamas comes away with some speed, and Sarwar is on the inside. Gold Foot now moves up to claim second. Cathal is settled nicely at the back of the field with Eye on Rye inside of him. 6 lengths covers the field. They move into the first turn with Genius Jimmy, the pacemaker. Opens up to lead it by 2 over Goldfoot in second. Then it's Sarwar, Lamas, side by side, 4 lengths off the lead. Eye on Rye, and Cathal. Straightening up for the run down the backstretch. And it is Genius Jimmy. Left alone. 2-length lead. Goldfoot second. Sarwar third. Then comes Lamas fourth with 4 to make up, heading to the half-mile pole. At the rail, Eye on Rye, the favorite, inching a little bit closer. And Cathal is outside of him. Still compact. 4 lengths covers them, rounding the far turn. Genius Jimmy in front. Goldfoot's been second throughout. Lamas takes third. Sarwar on the rail in fourth. Then it's Cathal fifth. And just in front of Eye on Rye, turning for home. Genius Jimmy tries to sprint away. Has it a length and a half. Sarwar's in second. Eye on Rye third. Out in the center of the course, Lamas and Cathal. Here's Sarwar bearing down on Genius Jimmy. Genius Jimmy digs in, though. Genius Jimmy all the way. Sarwar fired a huge shot and just missed. Eye on Rye was third. Onward and Upward joins her. They're off, and Miss Michelada was off last. Cheering for Layla along the inside has speed, Onward and Upward. In between those two, it's Countess Vronsky, and now Miss Michelada 4, literally across the track. So Miss Michelada, the 1-9 favorite, is wide, of course, and leads it by about a neck now. With Onward and Upward, cheering for Layla and Countess Vronsky. Miss Michelada goes to the 3/8 pole, opens up 2 lengths now on cheering for Layla, who races in the second spot. Onward and Upward third, and then it's Countess Vronsky, a 1/4 mile to go. Miss Michelada cheering for Layla will try to get her to the outside in second, but 3 lengths behind Miss Michelada, who's just coaxed along, gets a little reminder that this is about business. And Miss Michelada finishes the job. She's far too good. Miss Michelada, all alone, widens, wins it by 10 lengths. Cheering for Layla, Onward and Upward, and Countess Vronsky. Fourth race, named for Amy's Mother's Day tradition. Up next, race 5. It's the start. They're in the gate. And they're off. And Lewis the Champ is quick, but now backs off as Tariff and Let Seamus Go. Mr. Leisure is in between them, taking second. Malibu Rocks claims third. Anon is in fifth. Lewis the Champ has been guided over to the rail by Kimura, and that leaves Spearfish at the back of the field. Around the first turn, Let Seamus Go. Mr. Leisure went wide and is 3/4 back in second. Another 2 back to Malibu Rocks, who's in third. Tariff is 4.5 or so off the lead. Another 2 back to Anon. Spearfish is next, and Lewis the Champ reserved. Jose Valdivia Jr. and Let Seamus Go, taking him to the half-mile pole, pursued by Mr. Leisure in the green silk second. Another 2 back to Malibu Rocks, and Tariff is at the rail. Anon, fifth, 5 lengths off the lead. Lewis the Champ moves up a touch just inside of that rival as they move around the far turn. Spearfish is now in front of him. In the meantime, Let Seamus Go is trying to sneak away, and he turns for home with a 2-length lead. Tariff takes up the chase. Lewis the Champ hugs the fence and is making some progress in the final 1/8 of a mile. Let Seamus Go, a length and a half. Anon is chasing, lengthening that stride and trying to get to Let Seamus Go. Let Seamus Go. Anon on the outside. Tariff, 3 of them come for the wire, and Tariff gets up at a huge number. Anon and Let Seamus Go in a photo, then Lewis the Champ. In the gate. And they're off. Atomic Drop, very fast. Right-hand rider up close. Last Call London third. Nauvoo ready to pounce. Manchild far outside and Keep Moving On trails. It's a quick early pace, and Atomic Drop is the leader. He is pressed immediately by the speedy Nauvoo. Those two not doing each other any favors around the first turn. Then comes Ready to Pounce, right-hand rider, Last Call London between them. Manchild is 4 wide, just 4 lengths off the lead. The distant trailer is Keep Moving On. That might not be the worst place to be. 5/8 of a mile to go, and it's Nauvoo in front. Has it by a half length to Atomic Drop. Manchild keeps the heat on the top pair, and Ready to Pounce is in between rivals. At the rail, right-hand rider is 3 off the lead. Last Call London has lost a couple of spots, and Freysu and Keep Moving On still at the back. 3 furlongs remaining, and the battle continues on the front end. At the rail, Atomic Drop has been prominent every step of the way. Manchild takes second. Nauvoo is dropping out of it now. He's losing ground with each and every stride. He's suddenly shuffled back to fourth as Ready to Pounce takes third with a quarter of a mile to go. Atomic Drop has put away all the speed horses and has widened. Atomic Drop is all alone in mid-stretch. Keep Moving On angles one from the outside. Manchild is currently in second. Ready to Pounce is third. What an effort from Atomic Drop. He blasted home by double digits. Manchild, Nauvoo gamely came back for third. Ready to Pounce in a photo for fourth with Keep Moving On. And they're off in the cinema. And a picture-perfect beginning. Encanto and Freedom's Not Free are the first two out. Artislas has plenty of early speed. He's taken a hold of in third. Just in behind them, Game Warrior is under a stranglehold and shuffled back to last. Bodhisattva and Mythical Reel are just in front of him. Around the first turn, and the lead belongs to Encanto. Has it by 3/4 of a length. Freedom's Not Free is in second. Artislas Orange Cap at the rail. And Bodhisattva is fourth, just 2 lengths off the pace. Mythical Reel is in between those two, and another 2 to Game Warrior. They're heading toward the half-mile pole. It's Encanto, the leader, pressed by Freedom's Not Free, who wants to get after him now. Another length and a half, Bodhisattva and Artislas sharing third. Mythical Reel is in between those two, just 3 lengths off the lead. Another couple back to Game Warrior. Encanto set down. Freedom's Not Free within ahead of him second. Still hasn't been asked to run. Artislas, Game Warrior circling up 4 wide on the outside of Bodhisattva and Mythical Reel there at the top of the stretch. Freedom's Not Free right up to Encanto. They're head and head, and Game Warrior continues to finish with interest. Artislas, Bodhisattva, Freedom's Not Free takes the lead close to home, and Freedom's Not Free, confidently handled throughout by Antonio Freysu to win the cinema. Bodhisattva was a very good second. Battle for third between Game Warrior and Encanto. The 8th race is the start of the $5 late double. Scratch 1. Go. In the gate, and they're off. Momad sprints out for the early lead, self-sufficient. Lyle Song was not fast out of there, but is wanting to get right into contention now, but is in some very tight quarters, just on the inside of Ghazali and brazenly at the back of the field. It will be Hector Berrios and Momad setting the tempo. They're in front by a length. Lyle Song now into second, and Ghazali 3 deep, just a length off the leader third, with 5.5 furlongs to go. Self-sufficient, fourth and 3 lengths off the lead, and another 2 to stretch running brazenly. heading to the half mile. And it is Momad, 3/4 of a length. Lyle's Song very willingly pressing that issue now within a neck of the leader. On the outside of them, it's Ghazali and Self-Sufficient, 4 more to Brazenly. Around the far turn, and Momad holding on to the lead, 3/4 of a length. Lyle's Song second. Ghazali, here's Brazenly unwinding his run now, taking fourth, running by Self-Sufficient. They're a 1/4 of a mile from home. Ghazali makes a 3-wide bid. Momad is hanging tough at the rail. Lyle's Song in between them, and Brazenly in the center of the racetrack. 1 furlong left for Momad, who's just in front of Ghazali, and Brazenly on the outside is starting to find his best stride, but Momad's in front close to home, and Momad makes every pole a winning one. Fending off the late charge of Brazenly, Ghazali finished third. They're in the gate, and they're off. Miss Joe's Curlin, Known Idea has some early foot. Sir Rocket comes away third. At the rails, Smiling Beast is 4 off the pace in fourth. Then Uncle Chili racing on the outside of Silent Heat. That pair is followed by Catman Sue and Shady Appeal at the back. Half mile left to go. It's Miss Joe's Curlin, pressed hard by Known Idea. 3 lengths back, Sir Rocket is in third. Smiling Beast continues to make headway, takes that third spot. Uncle Chili is 3 wide, 5 lengths off the lead. Catman Sue, Silent Heat, and Shady Appeal. They have a 1/4 of a mile to go. Miss Joe's Curlin and Known Idea have been going at it throughout. Good trip for Sir Rocket, who comes to the 3 path after them in third. Catman Sue and Smiling Beast is down at the rail. Final furlong, Sir Rocket coming at Miss Joe's Curlin, who keeps on going. On the outside, Catman Sue is coming fast late. Miss Joe's Curlin is digging in, though, and Miss Joe's Curlin in virtually wire-to-wire fashion. 3-way photo among Catman Sue, Sir Rocket, and Smiling Beast. Uncle Chili completes the super high five, and there will be a $94,000 pick 6 carryover on Friday. $1 late double, 350.
Hi, everybody. Hope you had a great week. And you know what? Right now, it's about 3 o'clock East Coast time, almost noon Pacific. And you know what that means. It should mean that you're putting that four-lettered word work in the rear view mirror and start focus on playing the horses, because we've got a $94,000 pick six carryover. Also, tomorrow, as you well know, tomorrow is Preakness Day at our sister track, Pimlico Racecourse. And we've got the perfect guest to analyze both the Preakness Stakes as well as the pick six carryover. He's the Southern California reporter and handicapper for the Daily Racing Form. He's been doing this for a long time. His name, Brad Free. Brad, happy Friday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thank you so much for having me. What a nice card today to have the pick for the pick six carryover. And we can talk a little bit about the Preakness as well.
We've had a lot of pick six carryovers as well. And you've been a big advocate of the $2 pick six. You were a critic of the 20-cent rainbow pick six, somewhat rightfully so. But the $2 pick six, I've been talking about this a lot on the simulcast show, that it is gaining momentum. The size of the carryovers is increasing. The pool size is increasing. The players are embracing what I consider to be the best bet to make a good lick in.
I agree. And at a $2 minimum, you have to make some tough decisions along the way, as opposed to at the 20-cent minimum, spread. I mean, that's not even handicapping or horse playing. You have to have some convictions, stick to them, and you can't go super deep, and you got to find a single along the way. So I love the $2 minimum. It creates more carryovers, and when a carryover, what that does is mitigate the takeout rate. So that's what we're in here for.
And Brad, you're on record in the Daily Racing Form in today's edition talking about how economical players might be able to hit the pick six. You think there's a few logical singles along the way?
There are, potential singles for sure. Look, if the pick six pays $100,000 today, I'm not going to have it.
And I also don't think it's going to pay $100,000.
It won't. I don't see how it can. The fields are relatively small. Many of the favorites look very solid, in my opinion. Of course, anything can happen. But I think today is the type of day where you can, shoot for a score maybe anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000. It's not going to be a life changer today, but for a budget-sized player like myself, I like today's sequence.
You and I are on the same page. I'm estimating that it might pay around $3,000, but if you put in a $200 ticket, what's wrong with that?
15 to 1, that's good.
You can have a lot of fun. Brad, speaking of fun, you and I both unfortunately like the same horse in the Kentucky Derby, the third place finisher by Aza, but the second place finisher
by journalism.
Journalism. Thank you. I had a mind blank there for a minute, and I shouldn't. He's the 8-5 more in-line favorite. Let's take a look at the field in tomorrow's Preakness Stakes, the Pimlico Racecourse. There's a number of other runners coming in off the Derby as well. But like you and I liking Baez in the Kentucky Derby, I think you and I like journalism in the Preakness, even though he's going to be a short price.
I would love to lock in 8-5 right now. I don't see any way that he'll be 8-5. I'll be surprised if he gets beat. I can see him, his odds being a lot shorter. I assume somewhere in the even money range. The rest of the field are just okay. Some of them might be good. Some of them may have more speed than journalism, early speed. But when you get right down to it, journalism has established himself as one of the elite 3-year-olds in the country, and he's the only one on that list of 9 that you can say that about. Yeah, Sandman's a grade 1 winner. Maybe goal-oriented might get better, but when all is said and done, the best horse in that field is journalism. He has enough tactical speed to be wherever Umberto Rispoli wants him to be. There's a lot less traffic to negotiate in a 9-horse field as opposed to the 19-horse field in the Derby. And I'll be shocked if journalism gets beat.
Brad, I know you're a big advocate of something that your parent company does, which is DRF Formulator, and I use it all the time. And I looked up the statistics for trainer Michael McCarthy coming back with horses on short rest. Now, Michael McCarthy has saddled a lot of horses over the last 5 years. He's only had 22 horses that fit within that 14-day return category. So the good news is he's won with 5 of them. That's a 23% win clip. That's basically almost his average for any type of category. Right. But nevertheless, the point I'm trying to make is there's some skepticism whether the horse is coming back too quickly. Remember in the old days, basically the Preakness winner was someone that came out of the Kentucky Derby anyway. Anyway, that's changed in more recent times, but I do think journalism, for the reasons you said, as well as that statistic that I just mentioned for trainer Michael McCarthy, is the horse to beat. The question becomes, how short of a price do you take and what type of play do you make? Do you play exactas, try single him in the pick six? I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can attack him, even if he's a short price.
Yeah, I mean, I thought number 3, American Promise, had a chance to outrun his 15 to 1 morning line. He was up there on the pace in the Kentucky Derby, a race that was dominated by late runners, so he had the race flow against him. But back to McCarthy, I've been trying to figure out a way to beat journalism all winter long. When he won the San Felipe with a 108 Beyer speed figure, I was thinking, maybe he ran too fast. He's going to bounce in the Santa Anita Derby. And Michael McCarthy, one thing about his horses, they maintain form. Not only do they maintain form, they actually typically get better. They do not regress. And if McCarthy had any doubts about journalism's fitness and condition going into the Preakness, they could easily skip this race. The fact that he's coming back in 2 weeks, training well, he proved that he can handle a wet track in the Derby. I don't have any problems with him at a short number.
Now, if journalism wins the Preakness, which is likely, it certainly sets up for an interesting Belmont at Saratoga, because I think that's going to be his biggest test. I think that's when all the big shooters are really going to be focused on trying to win the third leg of the Triple Crown.
Well, I hope he wins tomorrow and hope he goes to the Belmont. That's going to be a very interesting handicapping conversation, because his two main rivals, Sovereignty, the Derby winner, and Baez, the Derby third place finisher, will be coming into the Belmont off a 5-week break. Journalism would be coming back, not only having run in the Preakness 2 weeks after the Derby, but then back again in 3 weeks. So it's going to be another situation where, oh, I don't like journalism because he's done all this stuff. Well, let's get through tomorrow first, and then we'll start handicapping the Belmont. But it does set up a very interesting showdown between some three-year-old crop that appears to me like it's very, very strong.
And Baeza back here in Southern California actually had a recorded work this morning, 50 and change. Were you walking the beat on the backside? Did you go to the sheriff's bar and do anything crazy like that?
No.
And you had too much homework to do for the seminar.
Well, I've been up all night preparing for it. What are you working? 53 seconds? So it was hardly even a workout for Baeza, but it does show that he came out of the Derby in good shape. Sheriffs will start to tighten screws in the next couple of weeks, and I'm really looking forward to a rematch with Sovereignty and journalism in the Belmont.
That's Brad Free's analysis of the Preakness Stakes. Tomorrow, we're going to find out who Brad likes on today's $94,000 Pick 6 carrier, which starts in race number 4. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes, which are minimal on today's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf out 30 feet. The big news, of course, the Pick 6 carryover of $94,000 plus. Here are the early changes. In race 1, there are no changes. Early Pick 5 starts with the first. Race 2 has a blinker note, always listed on the bottom of the program page. Race 3, blinker note. The fourth starts that Pick 6. Scratch number 3, Tippy, $94,783 in the Pick 6 carryover. Race 5, scratch number 2, Jerry's Spirit. The all-turf Pick 3 and late Pick 5 begin with the 5th. No changes in the 6th, first leg of the late Pick 4. $3 late Pick 3 wagering offered on race 7, scratch 3, Booster Club. Scratch 4, Kiku Ride. Scratch 10, How About Pavel? And scratch number 11, Coral Gables Kalen. The 9 does draw in. 8th race, $5 late double wagering offered. Number 7, Lady Dosia, 4 pounds overweight. And in the 9th, we have super high 5 wagering, no scratches, or jockey changes. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. We are 58 minutes away from race 1, the Pick 6 on races 4 through 9. Back to Quigley's Corner we go. His special guest today, Brad Free of the Daily Racing Form.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Brad Free from the Daily Racing Form. Before we find out who Brad likes on today's 9-race Santa Anita card, just a quick reminder, besides the Preakness tomorrow, we've also got a $1,500 live money tournament that comprises all the Pimlico races. Their first post is at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. You put up $1,000 live bankroll. Whatever you make is yours to keep. $500 goes toward the prize structure. And as you can see, there's incredible amounts of prizes and cash that can be won, including Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge seats, Pegasus World Cup Challenge seats, NHC seats. It's going to be a lot of fun. About 175 players are expected to play. You can either play here on track at Santa Anita or nationwide online at ExpressBet. If you're going to play Pimlico tomorrow, make sure you get involved with the $1,500 Preakness Challenge tournament. Brad, I know a lot of your comrades up in the press box, like Bike and Kurt Hoover and many others, like to dabble, stick their toe in some of these tournaments. It's an economical way to make a good score.
I guess so. I have never had the time to be able to do that.
You're a DRF employee, so you can't play because they offer NHC.
There's that too. Yeah.
But it's always a good time, and Bob's done well lately, and of course, Kurt, sometimes a silent partner, does well as well. But we've got our own tournament today.
Yes.
We've got the pick six, but let's kick things off, Brad, in race number 1, which begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We are in the turf course for race 1. The turf rails today are at 30 feet. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. This is a starter allowance race. We've got a field of 5. Currently, the 4 to 5 choice is number 4, Agency, from the Mark Latt barn. Mark Latt could have a big day today, Brad. Give us your thoughts on race 1.
I think Mark Latt kicks off the Friday card with a short price winner in Agency. He dropped into a one other than last time out, and he ran for the $50,000 claim tag, and that's important because that made him eligible for this starter allowance. And he ran a winning race, actually. Third place finisher Tom Seaver came back to win his next start. So the highly rated number, the 87 buyer that Agency earned, has already been validated. I think he wins this race, Agency, at a short number. The one horse that I might be interested in, so is everybody else, clearly, number 2, Carver, only because he has a potential pace advantage. I think he's going to clear the field, Carver. He should improve off his recent comeback. He was in the hunt on or near on the front end up until the 8th pole, then he got tired. Second start back off a layoff. He should make the lead. He could race gate to wire. The last 2 weeks, 3 of the 10 6-furlong turf sprints at Santa Anita were won by pace setters, and all 3 of those front-running winners were prices. Regal Patriot at $19, Osage Creek at $30, and Miss Joe's Curlin at $24. So sometimes these front-runners can get out there, front-running long shots can get out there and steal it. In a small field, you're not going to get much of a payoff, 3-1 right now on Carver, but I think the Agency will run down Carver in the lane.
An additional comment and a question for you, Brad. First, the comment number 4, Agency. You mentioned how Tom Seaver came back to win. Not only did he come back to win, he also earned a buyer speed figure of 84, as you mentioned, validating that 87 that Agency earned. However, number 3, Belly Up, has a similar scenario. The second place finisher, Mia Bambino, came back to win, also earning a buyer speed figure of 84. Do you give any shot at all to the Brian Coroner training number 3, Belly Up?
Well, I'm always reluctant to discount a sharp horse moving up in class, and that's what Belly Up is doing. But on numbers, I don't think he's quite fast enough. But again, he's sharp right now. Coroner is protecting him, ran him for a tag in his comeback race, protecting him in the starter allowance. I can see him. He wouldn't shock me, but I think it's a 2-horse race.
You make a good point, Brad, and that is that not only is a sharp horse, but he's moving up in class. A lot of times handicappers who maybe aren't to that season tend to disregard those horses and fall in love with droppers. It actually should be the inverse relationship. You should like horses where the barns are moving them up and maybe discount horses that are dropping down in class.
I love horses moving up in class. I also I think that sometimes horses coming into a race off a loss, often their odds are skewed disproportionately.
Correct.
When a horse wins his or her most recent start, everybody sees it. Everybody knows what the number is. But horses that lose their most recent start and horses that lose and go up in class, they can sometimes offer a potential for an overlay.
Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track for $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races. Lifetime number 5, Western Avenue, is the 8-5 Maury line favorite. Talk to us about race 2, Brad.
I wish I had something intelligent to say about this race. I had a lot of difficulty. I ended up going to the favorite, number 5, Western Avenue, basically because he's the best horse in the race. However, this race is on dirt, and his dirt form is not that great. He started 3 times on dirt. His best finish was 3rd by 12 lengths back in July of 2023. So he's dropping in class. He did run okay on dirt for part of the race last time. It was a 2-turn, one other than. He's shortening up to 5.5. He's the fastest horse in the race on speed figures. I do not trust him one iota, though, due to the surface switch. It's another small field. Very difficult to find value in this race. I picked number 4, Trotsky, second. His most recent start was at Los Alamitos. It was actually not that bad. He had to be kind of used along going 1,000 yards at Los Al. His races at Santa Anita are okay. I go 5-4, but this is, if I was playing the early pick 3 or pick 5, which I'm not, I would probably end up buying this race and using the all.
Here's another statistic, courtesy of DRF Formulator, Brad, that I dug up on trainer Steve Knapp, the trainer of the favorite number 5, Western Avenue, in race number 2. The last 15 times the Knapp barn has gone route to sprint on the dirt surface, they've won 3, finished second 2 times, and 5 times in third place as well. So basically 10 for 15 in the money whenever he goes route to sprint. His most recent one was Buds and Suds, who you'll recall just won back on May 7th, not that long ago. So, and Western Avenue, besides maybe liking him off that trainer statistic, I went back and looked at the workouts courtesy of our friends at firsttv.com, and you can see the bullet workout on April 30th. This horse does have a lot of early speed. I don't think he's necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for, in here for a fire sale. I think he's in here to win. He's going to be a short price, as Brad mentioned, but I do trust him a little bit more than what Brad indicated in terms of statistics in race number 2. Race number 3, we're back on the turf course. Mile and an eighth is the distance for $25,000 claimers. Fillies and mares, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. 2 of them trained by Phil D'Amato. We do have, somewhat ironically, 2 co-morning line favorites. Number 1, Step It Out, as well as number 5, or help me out here, Brad. Oratium?
Oratium?
Oratium? Okay, we'll leave it up to track announcer Frank Biramati. But nevertheless, 7-2, indicating that this race is a bit wide open. How'd you see it?
First of all, I want to say I think there was a typo or something with regards to the morning line. Okay. Because when you look up the proper morning line balances at 122 to 124 points. Every odds is associated to a percentage point. The odds for this race only add up to 107 points. So something is skewed.
Something's wrong.
There's something wrong. There was a mistake made, maybe in transmission or whatever. These horses' odds are all going to come down because they can't have 2 7-2 favorites.
Correct.
So there was probably some mistake along the way. Having said that, I picked number 1, Step It Out, off that runner-up finish last time out going a mile. My question with this gray filly is, can she get a mile and 1/8? I don't have the answer to that, but she has tactical speed. Her numbers are good. D'Amato's going good right now. I think she's the horse to beat. Number 2, Lead Away, has changed owners and trainers since her last start. She has run races that put her in the hunt, and after that, it's just kind of a scramble. So I went 1-2 in a race, again, that I'm not that interested in wagering on.
Interesting. A couple additional comments, Brad, to your top 2 selections. Number 1, Step It Out, lost last time out to Star of the Night. That was a Mark Glatt, non-winners of 1X Dropper, who went off at even money. So no disgrace with Step It Out losing to that particular filly. Also, number 2, Lead Away. Here's an interesting thing that I found, if you like Lead Away. Humming Beethoven, the dam of Lead Away, was trained by none other than Steve Sherman. This was a private purchase. These are new owners with a new barn change. That was a courtesy, once again, of DRF Formulator. So it's interesting. Steve Sherman, who trained the dam, Humming Beethoven, probably bought this privately off the Pipey family, and now Lead Away goes first time in the Steve Sherman barn. Race number 4 begins at $2 pick 6 with the $94,000 aforementioned carryover. We'll kick it off with a baby race. It's for 2-year-old fillies, maiden special weight, sprinting 4.5 furlongs the main track. There is one scratch. Scratch the 3 Tippy, leaves us with a field of 5. Down on the rail, the Michael McCarthy first-time starter is the 8-5 morning line favorite. But before we get your thoughts on the race, Brad, you wanted to show a workout for number 2, Light One Up. This was a team gate drill back on May 4th right here at Santa Anita. Light One Up is going to be down on the inside. Let's watch Light One Up basically break from the gate and make a shambles out of her workmates.
Yeah, that's her on the inside. Light One Up, daughter of City of Light. She broke running, and she is down inside another rival, and I think that's important because it gives her the feel of competition in the morning. She's not out there by herself dilly-dallying around. She's actually in a morning race, so to speak.
Correct.
So she's quick from the gate. She's by City of Light. He gets 14% debut winners with 2-year-olds, another formulator stat. And I think if I had to do this again, Tom, I actually picked number 1, La Vie Lumiere, over Light One Up. I probably would reverse it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use them both into pick 6 and maybe even one more. But this was a good, solid workout by Light One Up. Talked to trainer Doug O'Neill earlier this week. They are optimistic. They think this filly is ready to go. So I think that she is one of at least 2 contenders and maybe 3. And I like what I saw in that workout.
We've been talking a lot about DRF formulator and the statistics. Here's the statistic for the Michael McCarthy barn. Of course, the owner and the trainer have all eyes set on Pimlico and the Preakness tomorrow. But you know what? This 2-year-old category for first-time starters here at Santa Anita is not necessarily a category the trainer Michael McCarthy thrives in. Over the last 5 years here at Santa Anita, so that would include also the autumn meet, but primarily the spring, summer meet and the autumn meet as well. Over the last 5 years, he's had 25 2-year-old first-time starters on the main track at Santa Anita. Only one of them has won. That horse's name is Pushing Us. So at a short price, I'm a little bit concerned, particularly with the rail draw of the chances of the morning line favorite. I'm with Brad here. I thought off that workout that we just witnessed, light one up, and trainer Doug O'Neill, who points to these 2-year-old races, is the filly to beat in race number 4. Race number 5 begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf courts. It's a restricted allowance race, non-winners of 1 other than a key scratch here of number 2, Jerry Spirit, leaves us with a field of 7. Number 1, Zeus's War, taking a drop down in class as the 8-5 morning line favorite. What say you about race 5, Brad?
Well, I'm baffled now, because before I was not, because we knew that Jerry Spirit was going to make the lead, and you either liked him or you didn't, but at least you knew there was going to be a legitimate pace. With Jerry Spirit scratched, the pace scenario all of a sudden becomes extremely murky. And I guess number 7, Idiot's Gold, might have enough gas to maybe be on or near the front end. Even number 4, Golden River, has a little bit of speed. But this race has become troublesome due to the pace scenario. Number 1, Zeus's War, inherits favoritism and is going to be my top selection. Has run well against better, exits that same race that Agency comes out of in race number 1, already validated by 3rd place finisher Tom Seaver. And Zeus's War actually ran okay in that race, was wide through the turn. You can't go 3 and 4 wide through the turn in a turf sprint at Santa Anita and expect to win. And that's where Zeus's War was, out in the proverbial parking lot. Now down on the inside, should not be too far off the early pace, and I think is just the best horse in the race. But again, the pace scenario leads me to maybe consider tossing in Idiot's Gold just on the potential pace angle, and he's my second selection now, just because I'm not sure how this race is going to unfold, whereas with Jerry Spirit in the race, we knew what was going to happen. Jerry Spirit was going to make the lead. Now we don't know for sure. Zeus's War over Idiot's Gold in a kind of a tricky race.
A pedigree oddity, I should say, in race number 5. If you take a look at the dam for both number 7, Idiot's Gold, as well as the dam for number 4, Golden River, you'll see they're half brothers. They're out of the same dam, Sizzling Gold. So interesting to see their Calbreds in an open race, but nevertheless, race 5 could be tricky with the scratch of number 2, Jerry Spirit. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're traveling 1 mile on the main track. $20,000 of the claiming tag. Non-winners of 3 races. Lifetime is the condition. Number 6, Michi's Express, first off the claim for trainer Doug Neal, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 6, Brad.
How about a pick 6 single and single the favorite, Michi's Express? He's just simply the fastest horse in the race. I use buyer speed figures and Thorograph numbers. On Thorograph, he towers over this field, and I don't think there's any way he's going to be 9-5. I can see him going very, very short in this field. O'Neill does well first off the claim. This horse can go 2 turns. You look at his career record, I know he's only 2 for 18, but I don't know that he has ever entered a race in which he has such a speed figure advantage than today. He had a fast workout on May 10th that was validated, I believe, by Andy Harrington. Liked what he saw. First off the claim, stretching out. This looks like a relatively easy spot. So I'm going to end up probably singling number 6, Michi's Express. My second choice in the race is number 4, Be Punctual. First off the claim by Bob Hess, first start since early March, but his numbers are just not that fast, Be Punctual. So I think it's either Michi's Express or you have to use the entire field. I'm going to single number 6, Michi's Express.
Brad, you do such a good job in the daily racing form. You mentioned for this particular race the profile for dirt miles over the last month. In your write-up, you talked about how during the last month, 14 of the 16 races run on the main track at a flat mile distance. It's been won by the early speed, either first, second, or third place finisher. They've dominated in the last month.
They really have, which is a little bit different than what we saw during the winter. During the winter meet, you could actually rally from behind. And I know that some people say, well, yeah, it's a dirt route race. The fields are small. They haven't been that small. The 1, 2, 3 front runners, pace pressers have dominated so far since this portion of the Santa Anita meet began, and that's where Michi's Express will be positioned, forwardly placed in the right spot to make his run.
Race number 7 begins at $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout, and we kick off that wager in race 7, running 6.5 furlongs in the flat turf course. This is for Calbred 3-year-old fillies, allowance optional claiming types. There are 4 scratches. Grab your pencil. 3, 4, 10, and 11 will not compete. 3, 4, 10, 11 have been declared out of the race. That means one of the also eligibles, number 9, Musical Number, does draw in the morning line favorite, number 2, Tight Squeeze, who was impressive on debut for trainer John Sadler. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Brad, you wanted us to have a look at a replay for number 7, Guilty of Having Fun. It was her most recent race back on April 5th when she broke her maiden. We're going to pick them up on the far turn. Listen to Frank Miramati describe the action. Pay attention to the runner wearing saddlecloth number 5. That'll be Guilty of Having Fun.
Around the far turn, Pony's Memory Lane speeding along with a 2.5 length lead. Darlin Tammy is in second. At the rail, Guilty of Having Fun still right in the thicket, looking for racing room in third. They're followed by Got a Secret in fourth. Another 2 back to Elsa Dutton there at the top of the stretch. And Darlin Tammy on the outside is up to take a narrow lead, shifting in a touch on Guilty of Having Fun, who angles out for another crack at her. Odie's Memory Lane is down at the rail. It's Darlin Tammy by 2. Guilty of Having Fun's coming fast. Guilty of Having Fun is best and runs down Darlin Tammy. It's a photo for third. Kiku Ride.
Brad, it's one thing to read the trouble lines in the daily racing form, but it's a completely different thing to watch the replay. Guilty of Having Fun obviously was best that day. Very impressive visually.
Very impressive. And she was backing up from 2 turns to 1 turn. Talked to her trainer, Andy Mathis, early this week as well. And he said that when she was running long, she was gutted at the end of the race. She just can't quite stay a mile. So we cut her back to 1 turn, and she overcame that bad trip. I suspect, I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that's the reason why Aguilar is not back on her, Guilty of Having Fun, because that was a trip that did not have to unfold like that, i.e. bad ride, maybe so. Anyway, I think that they found her niche, and that is racing 1 turn, Guilty of Having Fun. She actually sprinted well last year as a 2-year-old. So they found out what she wants to do. She has tactical speed. She can finish when they go short, and I think that she's the horse to beat. I love the price, 9-2, and you know what? In this field, you might get it. Another thing about Guilty of Having Fun's most recent start, not only did she overcome trouble, turns out she beat a good field. 6 of the horses that she defeated have run back. 2 of them won and 2 of them finished second in their next start. So she didn't beat a bunch of scrubs in that maiden race. She beat a good maiden field that has been validated. I like Guilty of Having Fun, but I'm also intrigued by number 8, Lava Lucy. Last time out, she was disappointed. As the even money favor, she made the lead and she gave way. That race it doesn't look like it unfolded that fast, 22-4, 45-4, yet the 1, 2, 3 finishers rallied from last, second to last, and third to last. It was a closers dominated race and all the speed collapsed. So I'm going to give Lava Lucy a pass for that race. And if you go back to her previous turf sprint back in February, that race would blow this field away on the front end. So I respect the speed of Lava Lucy. I like Guilty of Having Fun, sitting a good trip right behind the pace with new rider Giovanni Franco aboard. And then, of course, Tight Squeeze was super impressive in her career debut. Very confidently handled by Barrios. She flew home late. She got up. She's the late threat. So I'm going to go 7, 8, 2 in that order.
Race number 8 begins the $5 late daily double with also a reduced 15% takeout, and we kick off that wager sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. Main claiming fillies and mares in for a $20,000 tag. Biggest field on today's card, field of 10, morning line favorite number 4, Petite Ange, who's 8-5 on the morning line. Plenty of chances, but according to your pick 6 analysis, this is your play of the day, Brad.
Well, I think she's a single. I mean, Petite Ange, she faces a rather dreadful field. Let's face it. It's not a good group of maiden 20 fillies and mares. This is the easiest chance ever for Petite Ange. I talked earlier about in race number 6 that Michi's Express, a speed figure standout. Petite Ange is even more of one. So 2 very non-creative singles on my ticket, Michi's Express and Petite Ange. If she doesn't win today, she may never win. But the question is, how much confidence can you have singling a filly who's making the 15th start of her career trying to break her maiden? And the truth of the matter is, trainer Ryan Hansen, who also owns this filly, was asking the same question. Why are we claiming this horse? And why, how much confidence can I have? How much confidence can you have? I think today, quite a bit. She's simply the fastest horse in the race. The only horse that intrigues me a little bit is number 2, Beauty Jenny, who is dropping from maiden 50 down to maiden 20 for the first time. Ruben Gomez has won a couple races in the last week or two, so his barn is going good, and she's never faced a field quite this week. But if they all run to their numbers, Petite Ange finally wins in career start number 15.
Brad, you asked the question, how much confidence can we have singling an 0 for 14 maiden? Well, there is some confidence, again, based upon your analysis in the Daily Racing Form. You had mentioned that Ryan Hansen, with his last 11 favorites at San Ynez, has won with 8 of them. That's a pretty good strike rate whenever he saddles a favorite here.
That's a really good strike rate. I like to look at that stat. Do trainers win when they're supposed to win?
Correct. And jockeys as well.
And jockeys as well. Can you rely? I mean, look, we're not going to be betting on 4 to 5 shots, but on a day like today, where there's a pick 6 carryover, they sure do come in handy. And Ryan Hansen is a very reliable trainer. He's having a heck of a meet right now, too.
He sure is. Race number 9 closes out the pick 6 sequence. Also, race 9 offers $1 super high 5 wagering. And we close out both wagers going 1 mile on the turf course for fillies and mares. $25,000 is the claiming tag. Number 9, Empress Ellie, taking a drop down in class for trainer Jeff Mullins, is a 3-1 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Brad, I want to do a little bit of a dissertation on number 1, Big Mama Sue, who is going to take betting action. We're going to watch a replay that Big Mama Sue exits. This replay was back on April 18th. As a matter of fact, 4 of the 9 runners in today's field exit the same race, so you'll hear plenty of familiar names. But I want you to focus on number 2, Big Mama Sue, because when they break from the gate, you're going to notice 2 things. First of all, she's going to be very wet. You're going to notice a lot of sweat and white lather on her right shoulder. You definitely are going to see that in the replay. So maybe she lost her mind going into the gate as the 1-2 favorite, but if you go back and watch the replay on March 17th, she also was wet and washy when they broke from the gate that day, and she wound up winning. Also, in the replay we're about to watch for Big Mama Sue and others, she was wearing front reps that particular afternoon for the very first time. So, you kind of be the judge. She had some trouble coming out of the gate. I thought she had plenty of time to recover from it. What do you do with her today? Because obviously she's going to be a play on a lot of pick 6 tickets, but let's watch the replay and let the video speak for itself. Let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on April 18th and watch Big Mama Sue breaking from post position number 2.
And they're off. Tiergarten gets the first call, immediately headed by Madera Wine. So Madera Wine sprints clear, and her stablemate Valkyrian moves into second. Tiergarten settles in third. Zayarat, after bobbling at the start, is in fourth. Then Big Mama Sue and Highlands. Around the clubhouse turn, and it's Madera Wine leading by a length and a half. Valkyrian is in second, with Tiergarten getting a nice trip just behind the top pair third. Zayarat is in fourth, 5 lengths off the lead. Then Highlands and the big favorite, Big Mama Sue. Onto the backstretch, chasing Madera Wine, who has the lead by a length, with Valkyrian cruising along in second. At the rail, Tiergarten holds her spot third and Zayarat fourth. Highlands is next. Big Mama Sue is last, but only 4.5 or so off the lead. Into the far turn, Madera Wine and Valkyrian 1-2 the whole way. At the rail, Tiergarten still third. Another 2 lengths to Zayarat. Highlands is next, and now Big Mama Sue is being ridden along. The favorite is last and ridden 6 lengths off the lead with a 1/4 mile to go. Madera Wine and Valkyrian turn for home, 1-2. Valkyrian right up alongside of Madera Wine with a furlong left to go. Kimura angles Tiergarten out, outside of her Highlands, and then Big Mama Sue. Here's Highlands down the center of the course, storming after Valkyrian and Madera Wine. Highlands, Valkyrian, Madera Wine. It will be Highlands. And
Brad, Highlands is in race number 9 today. She's going to go off at 10-1. Big Mama Sue, we talked about before watching the replay. You respect Big Mama Sue, but you're looking at a different direction for another filly who exits a different race.
Yeah, Big Mama Sue's most recent start to me was just just draw a line through it. And if you go back one start on March 17th, that was a dominating win at this class level, which would be good enough to be competitive in this field. However, I do like number 2, Super Ellie, second off the claim by trainer Mark Glatt. The last 5 years, Glatt is 30% second off the claim. He claimed her 2 starts back off a big win. She was in a little too tough last time out in an allowance race against the likes of Certitude and company, dropping back in for a $25,000 claim today, but still kept above the level at which she was claimed 2 starts back. And I think that March 17th race for $20,000 that she won would probably be good enough, but she's not a standout by any stretch of the imagination. On speed figures, the entire field is virtually inseparable. But I like Mike Smith riding for Mark Glatt, second off the claim, back to where she probably belongs. She was 13-1 last time out and was overmatched. But today is the day for Super Ellie. And Big Mama Sue, I've got a question mark. I have to give her a pass for one bad race. She's a 7-time winner from 30 starts.
Brad, before I cut you loose and enjoy the afternoon of racing, one more wager to consider, and that would be the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. The payouts have been unbelievable. Last Friday, I paid in excess of $20,000. On Saturday, I paid in excess of $2,000. Make sure you get involved. It'll be overshadowed by all the races at Pimlico today, but make sure you put in a ticket. $1 minimum, low 15% takeout. You can see 3 of the 5 races in the Pick 5 originate right here from Santa Anita, but we kick off the wager with Gulfstream Park, race number 8, 1:44 p.m. Pacific time. Brad, Southern California horse players are lucky to have you as an analyst because you do such tremendous work. Always love having you on the seminar. Keep up the great work. Hit some winners today, and we'll do it again real soon.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Of course. Thanks for watching as well, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great afternoon of racing, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.